And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with the show that is about to burn the midnight lamp, only known as Music Village. And according to the maestro, we have just about less than an hour until we are in the world of Saturday morning, which I'm going to try to prevent at all costs, especially for this show because we don't have the same time zone regulations as the Tuesday night special, which that has until around 6 a.m. because we're gargoyles. But besides gargoyles, folks, I'm looking at my watch right now. Oh, and it glows in the dark too. It's just about that time. It's the witching hour, which means it's time for us to be brought up to speed from news stories from this week from, you guessed it, all around the world. And in our first news story, and in sad news for you guitar fans out there, Bob Kulick, the guitarist known for being a part of groups such as Lou Reed, Meat Loaf, and even a part of the band Kiss but wasn't credited for it, has died this week at the age of 70 years old. And for those who are wondering out there, he actually auditioned to be a part of Kiss in 1972, but unfortunately was beaten out for the job by none other than the star child himself, Ace Frehley, but was an active contributor to the band, being a part of such great albums such as Alive 2, Unmasked, Killers, and Creatures of the Night, and would even go on further to being a part of Lou Reed's album of Coney Island Baby, then would be a part of Meat Loaf's touring band known as the Neverland Express, and then eventually would appear on a Meat Loaf album entitled Bad Attitude. But for those in the world of television who didn't know, he was behind the cool song that was almost featured at a Super Bowl known as Sweet Victory, that was a part of the SpongeBob Show episode of Band Geeks, which to this day is probably one of my favorite SpongeBob episodes of all time, besides the Hibernation episode that featured Pantera. Man, you know, SpongeBob had a lot of very good guitarists featured during that said show. And we here at Music Village would like to say, on behalf of Bob Kulick, may your work live on forever, and may you forever rest in peace. And in other news, and in radioactive spider blood news, but not really, apparently in Bolivia, 3 boys who believed that they could get superpowers from a spider bite would try getting bit by a black widow, only to end up hospitalized for well over a week due to them getting bit by that said spider. And the boys were aged 12, 10, and 8. While trying to get bit by the said spider, and apparently according to the mother, they would go on record by saying, "For children, everything is real. Movies are real." And yeah, in my opinion, I was almost dared to get bit by a wolf spider at one point, so I can understand where these boys are coming from, but at the same time, I'll say it once and once only. There is no way you can be like Peter Parker and get bit by a spider, especially one of the most poisonous spiders in North America. You can't get powers from that. You know, they're radioactive spiders that can give powers like that, but not those things. Those are highly poisonous. And yeah, it's just a movie. I'll add on to that because I don't want anybody getting ideas of trying to get a spider with radioactive spider blood or anything like that to bite them to get superpowers, because it won't work. Trust and believe me when I say this, it will not work. And on a side note, those boys were extremely lucky to survive these spider bites, because it's been reported, according to National Geographic, that Black Widow spiders have venom 15 times more powerful than a rattlesnake. So yeah, it's more or less fatal to everybody, but yeah, children are more at risk of getting bit along with the elderly and dying from these spider bites, so they got extremely lucky that they were rushed to the hospital after they got bit by these things. Hopefully they learned a lesson. And with that said, folks, we now go into our next news story, hopefully without spiders, because I'm already starting to get the creeps from them. For you Frog Leap Studio fans out there thinking that he couldn't turn AC/DC into a more heavy metal-like band, you're wrong. Because this week they would do a cover of the classic song of Back in Black with a little help of Reba Masad, who would do a couple of guitar solos during this said song, making it even more heavy metal than it already was before. And after hearing the show Look Around You saying that AC/DC is probably the heaviest metal that you can have, after hearing this song, I think the density went up by at least another 1,000 notches. I don't know, but it definitely did for me. And if you guys and girls out there want to check out this awesome heavy metal cover of Back in Black by AC/DC, you can head on over to the YouTube page of one man only known as Frog Leap Studios to check it out for yourselves. And with all those regular news stories out of the way for this week, you guys at home know what time it is. It's time for us to go into yet another edition of Video Game News.
3, 2, 1, go.
And in our first video game news story, for you BlizzCon fans hoping that this COVID-19 virus was unable to affect the BlizzCon for this year, unfortunately, to quote Wade Barrett, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Because it's been announced as of this week for the first time in well over 8 years that BlizzCon unfortunately has been canceled for this year. And the celebrators and planners for BlizzCon will go on to say the following. We're talking about how we might be able to channel the BlizzCon spirit and connect with you in some way online, far less impacted by the state of health and safety protocols for mass in-person gatherings. And would go on further by saying, we want to do this as soon as we could, but given this is newish territory and the different factors involved, it will most likely be sometime early next year. And I, for one, who never truly been to a BlizzCon event, always got excited by them because usually that's around the time when they make announcements for most of their cool games, including for Diablo 4, which I was really hoping to hear some exciting news for the game at BlizzCon, but apparently for this year, it was not meant to be. And in my opinion, it's a smart move. With everything still in unsure territory, with all the stuff going on with COVID-19 still running rampant around the world, I got a feeling this was definitely a smart move for them to do, and I can't wait to see what sort of online interactive version of BlizzCon they have for early next year. And for those who wants to check out the rest of the message that Sarah Lynn Smith was able to make according to most about what would happen with the canceling of BlizzCon and what they got planned for in the near future, you can head on over to the website of BlizzCon yourselves, only known as BlizzCon.com, to check it out for yourselves. And in other news and more or less Grand Theft Auto Online news, for you fans of the Italian Job or even the Mini Cooper that they call in that game the Winnie Izzy, then I have some good news for you because this week they are going to honor the legacy of the Winnie Izzy in GTA Online. And how would they do that, folks? By not only giving you a shot to not only earn the classic car on the wheel, but also giving you 50% off on every version of the Izzy you can possibly get all the way until June 3rd. And on top of that, folks, the Madrazo dispatch services has been doubled along with the lowrider missions for none other than Lamar for this week. So I, for one, especially with Madrazo, since he hands out the most amount of money out of any of the contacts in the game, am definitely going to jump on that opportunity. And may try to spin the wheel to get the Winnie Izzy Classic, mostly because I was a big fan of the movie The Italian Job, the original and the remake. And according to my show, we still haven't done a review for it yet, but don't worry, give it time. Give it time. We'll find a place and a moment to do it, and we will. And if you guys want to check out the other things that are on sale for this week, including the Imponte Deluxo, the Truffdale Nero, and even the Classy Mamba, you can head on over to the Rockstar Games page, only known as rockstargames.com, under the Newswire section to check it out for yourself. And in other video game news, or in Iron Man news, for you fans out there who are still chomping at the bit for that July 3rd release date for the game, I have some good news for you, because it's been announced that Iron Man VR has been released as a demo as of this week for you fans out there to play. And to make things even better, folks, they've also decided to come up with a bundle pack for this said Iron Man VR game when it releases, which includes the following. Not only will you get a PlayStation VR headset, you will also get a PlayStation camera, 2 PlayStation Move controllers, and a copy of Iron Man on Blu-ray, which retails at a grand total of $349.99. Which is not half bad, because I got a feeling the PlayStation VR headsets cost just a little bit more than that, and seeing the fact of how cool this game was with a couple of the photos and stills, I can't wait to get my hands on this game so I can shout from the rooftops, I am Iron Man! Which I got a feeling I probably would as long as it has a War Machine suit lurking in the background for it too. And if you guys and gals out there want to give a shot to the PlayStation VR demo for Iron Man, you can head on over to the PlayStation Network right now to check it out for yourselves. And remember, folks, the full version of the game will be available on July 3rd for the PlayStation VR. And with all those news stories out of the way for this week, folks, you have all officially been brought up to speed. And I guess with that said, we might as well head back into that music one more time. And when we return, we'll be back with the final segment for this late night delight edition of Music Village right after this. So don't go cruising into the night just yet, folks, and stay tuned.